LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas.
Gridiron Warriors take the field in an epic battle that is larger than life. It is called Texas high school football. Only one show can bring the greatest sport from the greatest state into focus. Lone Star Gridiron.
East Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at NETsn.live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NETsn weekly wrap-up show, state championship edition, which means it's the end of the season, Vince. And man, feels like we just started a few weeks ago.
Nah, it's been long for me, but that's because this time of year for me is like crazy. So, but yeah, it did kind of seem like it blew by. So, I mean, you blink and then you're in playoffs. So.
Yeah, you blink, and some things change, Vince, and some things stay the same.
So what stays the same, Bret?
This championship belt stays the same.
Yeah,
your Pick'em champ has defended his title. We'll talk about the picks once the other two guys get on here, but man, what a season! I mean.
Yeah,
we had our preseason polls. We'll talk about how they ended up here tonight. But the sad part for me, Vince, was the disappointments of the East Texas teams down to the end. We had one team that came home with the state championship, and that was the Carthage Bulldogs, and not to anyone's surprise. But just overall, it was really a disappointing season for East Texas as far as bringing home state crowns. We thought at some point in the season we had at least 3 easily wrapped up.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about state. It doesn't matter how good you are sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta have a little bit of luck. And it sometimes it's just the way, the cards are drawn. So I mean, big shout out to Carthage though, because they did their thing. They did what they were supposed to do, what everybody expected for them to do. That is 9, I think, for them. So
nine state titles, yes. They're tied for second. Of course, Alito added another one, so that picked up another title for them. They moved up to 11. So, but so let us know if you're here online tonight. I know this is kind of the last end of the season. Everybody's kind of maybe out of football and into basketball season. I know we're jumping around.
Already. It's that weird time where that transition is happening. So, for the solid, true football fans, they're probably starting to hibernate. That's kind of how I am a little bit, I guess.
We got you out of hibernation though last night, Vince. As
Yeah,
NETsn
and
made their
it did feel
basketball
good watching some
debut.
basketball. It did
Yeah,
feel good watching some
basketball
basketball. So.
debut last night in Arp, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Got a double header there. Corey and myself on the call. If you missed those games, we have them on our video archive there on the YouTube channel. So go subscribe there. But some good solid basketball in Arp. The carpet was rolled out for us there. We had a lot of people that I knew there. Of course, we had Vince out kind of watching the camera for us. We had Anthony just showed up to watch some hoops. Saw Nick Baldwin there at the game.
I thought that was Nick I saw.
Yeah,
you kind of don't miss Nick when you see him. He got that size that, you just see him and you're like, oh yeah, that's Nick. That shadow that cast over you. It's like, oh, that's Nick.
Yeah. So we had lots of people there, and like I said, we got a good deal with ARP. We're gonna be there a lot this year. Hopefully, we'll be announcing some other schools later. But Mike Alzamore and the ARP ISD, they did a great job of hosting us last night. Very welcoming. Made us feel like we were wanting to be there, and it was a great feeling.
Yeah, I got to test out my new lanyard and everything. Actually, when I walked in the building, the lady saw it, and before I can even tell her, she was like, "Oh yeah, you over there." I was like, "Okay, cool,
nice. Feel like you're an important person in the building." Yeah. Corey finally, I don't know if he'll wear it tonight, but he finally got his hat. So he's officially now part of NETsn. Yeah.
He's officially been drafted.
Yeah. We drafted Kyle last week in the third round, and we picked Corey in the fourth round.
Maybe the fifth or the sixth. I don't know.
If it goes by your pick percentage, Corey might be one of those late round steals.
We'll see. That remains to be seen. Nah, I'm just playing. He ain't here to defend himself, so it ain't fair.
Yeah, well, sometimes it just happens when you get there late. It's happened to you before where you weren't here to defend yourself.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I was running a little late myself. I didn't even have my phone, so I happened to see you were texting about times and stuff. So
yeah, I'm also going to give a shout out for we're trying to get a little time with them get going here. Looks like Kyle's going to join us here. Welcome,
sir. What's up, Kyle?
I was going to give out to my horn. Horns today had a pretty good draft signing day. I'm wearing my tech today. I've got this shiny belt, Kyle, that I've announced that I've defended my championship.
That's just because I didn't play all season. If I would have played,
we tried, man. You were too scared.
I had a moment, man. I had a moment where I almost got him. So
it's just
I had it tied, and then I just went left with some picks that kind of just.
You went Corey way. You went Corey.
Yeah, I started feeling myself a little bit. I had a couple of weeks where I was like 8 and 9, or whatever, something like that, and then it just fell off. I think actually, I think I had 1 week where I had like 4 maybe or something like that. I never recovered.
10. You had 10 1 week.
I did. That's what kicked it off. I had like a little streak there for a minute.
I was doing great in the playoffs until the state semis, and then that just
Well, a lot of us had some trouble there. The East Texas
I started
teams,
out horrible. So.
We kind of talked about that up front. Kyle was like, overall, just going back and looking at the season, I think East Texas is going to feel a little bit disappointed as far as overall titles. We, middle of the season, we were thinking at least 3. You were talking Carthage, Longview, Timpson. Oh, those are locks. They're going to win. And then, of course, you had Chapel Hill make a deep run, and you had Harmony, right in there. So you had 6 teams make it to that semifinal round, but only one won, and so I think that was pretty disappointing overall. I think for East Texas.
Honestly, when you see how the state games turned out, though, it's kind of like I can see how it turned out that way. When you saw what Aledo did, like it just was like.
But you saw how close Longview was to that. They were right there.
But and they were. But where I have to jump on Longview a little bit. I still say this. Longview had an hour and a half to figure out to string together a couple of plays. And they didn't complete not one of those. They didn't execute not one of them plays.
Aledo
and I just thought to myself, like, fair enough. Which would then prove the fact that Aledo really is that much better than them. right?
Yeah.
That they wouldn't let them have anything. Defensively, that is, anyway. I don't, man, when you see Alito do what they do, I don't feel so bad. Like, if Alito would have ended up in a close one, maybe I'd have been like, all right, I wonder what Longview would have did. But to see Alito just destroy them the way they did, it just made me think to myself, like, well, the championship really was Alito and Longview, and now whoever they finna play, they just finna eat them alive.
Well, that I felt that way about all the state games. Personally, I was disappointed in the state games with the amount of blowouts. Like, I'm glad I sat at home and watched them, because if I would have paid money to go park, concessions, tickets, all that, to sit there through blowouts.
So a buddy of mine went to what was the first game played on Saturday? Was that the Alito game?
It was a 5A. It was a 5A D1. So yeah, I think it was Alito. Yeah, it
was Alito. So he went and he watched that game, and then he left before the next two games were played. And he told me that, and I said, "You mean to tell me you watched the blowout and then you went back home?
You got to at least stay. If you're gonna buy a ticket, you better stay all three to get your money's worth."
When he got home, he realized he was able to watch the Duncanville game, but he was so mad because he was like, "Man, I can't believe I went up there to watch a blowout, and then they had two really good games after that."
Yeah, I used to, when it was at Texas Stadium, I used to go when it was $10 a ticket for 3 games, bro. You could go up there, sit and watch 3 games. I loved it. It was a blast. There were some blowouts in there, but it wasn't. I just felt like this state championship season, I felt like a lot of the state semifinals were more state championship games than the actual state games. And that's not taking anything away from the people that got to state, because you made it to state. But at the same time, I felt like a lot of those state semifinal matchups were more state championship games than the actual state games, which is kind of disappointing to me. You had 12 games over 4 days, and there were 3 close ones. Like, that's
so this is a question that I would ask then. In basketball, when they get to the semifinals, they're all played. The semifinals are played down in I think San Antonio now. It used to be Austin. Okay, so they will seed those based on a certain criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to do that in football? You get to the Final Four. The only thing is travel, but these teams are traveling all over the place anyway. So do you reseed it to try to get your 2 best teams in your state game instead of playing them in the semis? Of course, you won't eliminate in the region, like Carthage and Gilmer, for instance. Okay, that could have been the state game. We talked about it that would have been the game for state. Now, Glen Rose did play them a little closer, but I think Carthage and Gilmer, whoever won that game, probably wins the title, like we talked about. But it just happened to be Carthage and Gilmer playing early. You can't fix that probably unless you're just going to completely shuffle, and that would just be impossible.
I heard people upset about that and wanting to shuffle Carthage around because it's unfair for Gilmer to have to be that good.
Get better.
I don't like that argument. I mean, you play.
I didn't either, but you know what I mean? It was just something that people were. I had a couple of people telling me that, as good as they are, like, you got to move Carthage somewhere else because it's unfair that they have to see each other like that and so soon. So
I don't know if I want the reseeding in football like basketball, because here's the other thing about basketball is, like, in the regionals and in the state, it's a tournament. So it's not just a one game, you know what I'm saying? Like, win or go home, like, it's a tournament. So I don't think you can reseed in football when you get to the Final Four, because I think Region 1 needs to play Region 3, Region 2 needs to play, you know what I mean? They need to. I like the regions being separated and playing.
Well, but it's always Region 1 versus Region 2 and Region 3 versus Region 4.
Yeah.
So does that need to shuffle where you play, or it's a different, like, one plays 3 sometimes, one plays 4? So I don't know.
I mean, I could see that happening. Something else that has been talked about. I'm curious to see what y'all's opinions are. I have an opinion, and I'll tell y'all afterwards. But hey,
there he is! Look at it! He's got it. He's official. He's been drafted.
Opa!
Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft.
What's up, Brock Purdy?
Opa! What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
We were just kind of talking about the basically
the state mayhem.
Do we shuffle? Do we reseed the teams once we get to the Final Four in football, kind of like they do in basketball, or do you like the way it is, where it's always Region 1 versus Region 2? In saying that, we get sometimes the better game in a semifinal, and we have these blowouts when we get to the state game.
So I'm just wanting to look and see how many blowouts there were.
There was a lot of them. Here's my question though. So
3,
there's been a talk about
4, 5.
changing the venue for the state games, like rotating sites, like having it in Arlington 1 year, San Antonio 1 year, Houston 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. Like I feel like, for me personally, AT&T Stadium is the biggest venue in Texas that you're going to be able to get to. At a state game, you should be at the best venue. So I don't think it needs to be changed. I also thought about, what if you have like 1A and 2A at one site, 3A, 4A at one site, 5A, 6A at one site? Only problem with that is then the 1A schools, the small schools, want to be on the same stage as the big schools.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see what y'all think. I don't think changing the venue, because they were talking about attendance was down this year for the state games.
It's because they're charging outrageous prices.
They are.
Yeah, they ain't got nothing to do with people.
Well, the games weren't good either. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And with the prices of everything, if I could sit at home and watch the game in the comfort of my own home, and if it's a blowout, go to sleep or turn it off.
So that's the other side effect of this too, right? With the technology the way it is, you don't have to go no more.
Yeah.
You don't have to. So there are people who wanted to go, but I can watch it on my phone or on my TV now. They're gonna probably choose to stay. There are other people that's gonna say, well, man, that ticket price is a little too much. I'm gonna miss out on it this time. It's just a collection of a lot of different things. I don't think changing the venue is gonna matter too much. I think the only thing that's gonna happen if you change the venue, then you might see some people just choose to say, "No, I'm not going over there." Go ahead.
I dig it. I dig the change. I don't want it to be too stale. I like change. Changes. We should be able to change it. The NCAA changes the sites for the tournaments. I think they should be able to change the sites for the championship game. I mean, you should at least try it. I wouldn't mind having it. Maybe in Houston or maybe in San Antonio or
I guess for me,
I can see them doing that.
I don't
always be an AT&T Stadium.
I don't like the change, and this is why I don't think I like it. Because for me, it was always about being able to play at Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
It was always about that. Day one putting on pads, that's what I'm thinking about. Can we get to Cowboy Stadium? I don't care about going and playing over at Horned Frog Stadium or over in Austin at the Longhorns. I don't care about none of that because they ain't the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the final stage. That's the big boss. You know what I'm saying? Like I want it there. Basketball's a little different. I think in football in the state of Texas, people just want it at their pro stadium. They all dream of playing pro, right? So they want to know what that feels like to be inside.
And they sure don't want to grow up to be a Houston Texan.
No, you don't want to play NRG. You want to play in a decent stadium.
NRG is a nice stadium. The seating is a little bit. It's a little. It can be. It can be updated.
They wouldn't be saying that if we'd have beat Pat Mahomes last week. They was kind of. Everybody was nervous. Everybody was nervous when we went into that overtime.
I think. Shout out to Chris and Terry. I think Terry brought the idea up of UIL creating an actual site where the whole championship. I would like to see them. Like to see something like that be developed. I think that's a nice
dead middle. Put in the dead middle of Texas. That way, there's no.
I'd like it. You know what I'm saying? That would kind of be. I don't care about being fair, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? You can have they can put a 50,000 seat stadium there in the middle of nowhere, and of course you can host bowl games if you want to make money. It's the state of Texas. Not gonna be hard to put teams or have teams play there, so it's not difficult. Especially if those teams want to play out of state, they want to play a team, they can just play there. There's a lot of things they could do to create commerce for them. Baseball, they have a baseball complex, a swim complex, so you don't have to use universities. and host year-round tournaments, summer league basketball, 7-on-7. They could do all of that there at a UIL complex. I don't think that's a bad idea. And some people are saying, "Oh, we don't want to play there. It's UIL complex." Everybody's going to complain about something. But at the same time, you build a 50,000 seat indoor stadium. You can play there year round, no matter what, and you can do whatever you. I don't think it's a bad idea. I like the idea.
I don't think this would have been an issue really had 3 Dallas schools or around Dallas, one right in their backyard. Now everybody's saying, well,
Katie and Vandergrift would have played.
Look how good they are, though. Look how good they are, though. Yeah, I mean,
people can complain.
It's like, what are we arguing about? Yeah. Most people pick them schools to get here day one.
Yeah, Vince, you know what? People complain because today is Wednesday and tomorrow's Thursday.
You know what? Honestly, I don't believe you'll ever make anybody happy. You put that game in Austin, and people still gonna find a reason to complain. I heard there was one coach that was complaining after they played and lost, and I'm like, man, when I looked at that score, I was like, it ain't. Listen, I don't care if you did have to leave a day early. There wasn't nothing stopping that whooping you took. Wasn't nothing stopping that.
You just delayed the inevitable.
Yeah, you just delaying the inevitable. Don't sit here and act like that one day it was a 30-point gap between you and the other team. Like,
well, speaking of games, let's talk about our picks. Now look at everybody here.
All right.
I know some of y'all may not want to talk about these because it was a little dicey this week.
I don't mind talking about my picks.
Let's see. Yeah, Corey, actually, this could have been your best week of the season. Actually, I think it almost was. You actually finished ahead. Oh, you and Kyle actually tied at 7. Vince and I had 6 this week. I got off to a rough start. I'll say that.
I did too. I didn't have any picks the first 2 days or something like that. I didn't get any of them or something.
It was a rough start.
I don't think anybody did, to be honest with you.
So this week's winner of the Pick'em week is James Duke. So shout out to James. He had 8. That was the top picker of the week. For the playoffs, I will have to say, with 40 picks correct, I won that as well.
Tap on the belt.
I also won the overall. Me and Derek tied overall. So shout out to Derek. He is our viewer champ of the season. So shout out to him.
One of Derek was on the
119, yeah, 119 correct picks for me and Derek. I guess that's out of 160, I guess, because we pick 10 every week. Or no, 170 because there's 11 weeks in the regular season. So not sure what the percentage is, but it seems like it's not too terribly bad. Let's see where y'all finished at. Vince, 110 for the year for Vince, 34 for the playoffs. You were tied for, I guess that would be 3rd with Jonathan Bradshaw.
Okay.
So
Bradshaw.
Tied there. Coming up next would be Drew with 107. Corey, you actually passed our man Eddie because he didn't pick the last 3 weeks. So you slid in there right behind Drew at 98 picks on the year.
Eddie never came back after that Carthage Pleasant Grove game.
I think he was real sick after that one. I don't know.
What did I just tell you, Brett? I said hibernation. Some people go away when football season is over, and he went home. He went back to his cave to rest. We won't see him till next year.
He had 93 on the year. Kyle, you actually were right behind Chris Blevins. Chris Blevins had 76, and Kyle had 73. Of course, that was after
most of the year, though.
You missed the first 6 weeks of the season, so.
Yeah. So I think look, you give me an average of like 6 or 7 each week, I'm right up there in the top 5, baby. We good.
Yeah, you were probably were. I wouldn't put that out. And then James was right behind you at 72. Everybody else was kind of far down. We had a lot of people come in late and start pick. Herschel did well toward the end. Herschel Hawkins, he had 30 on the playoff run. Let's see, Kyle, you had 38 for the playoffs. You were actually 3rd place behind me and Derek. So
right on.
I'm gonna have in the playoffs.
You had Corey 32. Vince had 34.
Okay.
So No, we're right there. Overall, we had, just to kind of put this in perspective of our pick'ems, we go all the way to, see, that's 27, 28, 29. We had 29 different people picked throughout the season. And so, not everybody picked every week, but that's pretty awesome. We had pretty good number of people pick. Hopefully they'll come back and pick with us next year. If we get enough people pick, I wouldn't mind putting up a prize for the winner, for our pick'em fans. So we need to pick a number maybe next year. We'll announce it if we can hit that number.
I don't want Cowboy tickets.
Yeah, you got where Corey must work at a bank that gives him money.
I said nobody wants Cowboy tickets.
I'm like, how do we write that off?
I don't know either.
Cowboy tickets.
I mean, if we have a really good sponsor, maybe that they'll donate some tickets. I mean, that would be nice.
For standing room only.
Watching.
Yeah.
Maybe Jerry's watching.
Jerry,
come on, Jerry.
Yeah. Jerry, hit us up. We've got. Let's go down through these games, and we'll just kind of talk about each one. It started out with what was the first one? Was it the Mart game?
2A D2.
Yeah, where Mart and Holly, and we were all wrong on this one. Holly.
No, Holly played Refugio.
Oh, I'm sorry. Holly, was that the first game?
I'm gonna have to go back.
Look, everybody pulls out their phones at the same time.
Let me go back.
The first game was Albany and Mart.
Albany and Mart.
And Albany. That was nobody had Albany at all in our pick'ems.
I thought it was March to lose.
Yeah, and Albany just came out and just put the smackdown on them. I knew it was bad whenever I started this way. It ended up being a bad week. You had that one. I mean, honestly, Albany was just better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it came out to. Albany. Then we had the next game was the Holly Refugio game, which only one person picked Holly out of everybody.
If I'd have known about that tailback sooner, I would have been picking Holly.
My
God. I mean, from the time that game came on, the only thing they talked about was
it was Austin Compton.
I kept saying Cooper.
He had 31 carries for 151 yards and 4 TDs.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and the boy was almost paralyzed last year.
Yeah. He had a great story too.
Yeah, real great story. That dude is 6'2", 225.
In a 2A.
Yeah. In a 2A game.
Yeah.
That's a big back for a 2A.
I would never pick
Brooks
against
running
him.
out there.
If I would have known, I would have never picked it. I mean, the moment I turned that game on, they started talking about him. And I was like, wait a minute, who did I pick? I was like, who did I pick? I know this boy's about to go off. I was like, he looked like a linebacker. He looked like a college linebacker.
Pitch left, pitch right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had that. They had the defensive I think it was the defensive end, Hess Parker, had 2 forced fumbles and an interception, pick 6. They just took it to Refugio. I mean,
didn't Refugio, if I remember correctly, wasn't that the game they kept turning the football over? They couldn't hold on to the football.
4 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah, you can't keep doing that.
And I think, I'm not mistaken, but I think Holly scored on all of them.
Yeah. They had 28 points off the turnover.
And the thing that I wrote down for this game was experience over youth. Holly had a lot of experience they returned from last year. Refugio was young. And it showed in that game. They shut down Campbell, the tailback that killed Timpson. Or actually, he was the receiver, but he would come around in. And he was just killing him on that end sweep over and over and over, Timpson. And they shut him down. He had like 8 yards, I think, total on the ground. And so, I mean, they just dominated him. It wasn't any.
They did. It wasn't nothing to talk about. They just dominated him.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. A lot of those games wasn't a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
A lot of teams just got dominated.
Yep.
Like, it's so happy what it is.
Well, and this is something that I've come to notice. Some teams get here based off their talent, and then others get here based off their discipline. You got some guys that just got overwhelming talent that everybody in the state is looking at and trying to get him to the next level. Everybody's paying attention to that one kid, right? And like at Timpson, it's Bussy, right? So, but then you run across a team that's just disciplined. It don't matter. They don't really have anybody who truly stands out that makes you think like he's the reason they win games. They just win because they execute, right? And I think that always wins out over talent. And man, listen, Holly is just Holly is just big, man. That's just big boy football. That's just big boy football, man. Like they came and it's crazy how I want to say this. The game was over in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Game was absolutely over in the first quarter. They lost in the first quarter. That was it. Those turnovers killed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could tell they were just shot after that. And then I think they started to put in a couple of other people, like some second and third streamers, which then you started to see the score. What you got?
Well,
the little one got something in here.
And I was relieved when we got to game 3. After those first 2, I was like, man, it's gonna be rough. But then then we had Gunner come in and just destroyed Poth.
Yeah.
Look, what did you think about that, Kyle? I mean, you saw Poth play the week before.
I thought Harmony was a real physical team, and then Poth was more physical than Harmony. I picked Poth. I said, look, man, I know I understand Gunner, but Poth. And then Gunner came out and was 10 times more physical than Poth. And I was like,
I'm trying to think, like, was Gunner the team running that weird offense that I can't even remember. I wish I had my notes.
That pistol offense.
They had what offense?
The pistol offense.
That pistol. Yeah, they got that pistol offense. I was like, man, ain't no way they doing them like that in the pistol.
Yeah, Gunner was the best team from start to finish. I mean, they deserved it. I'm happy for them. But I wish Harmony would have made it because it would have been fun to go to state and watch it. But I wouldn't have wanted to sit through a 42-7 game, if I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hey, I felt the same way the week before. So, I mean, it's tough cooking when you're trying to call a game for a team and they're getting just beat down and you can't do anything about it.
But next we had Franklin and Brock.
Finally, a good game.
Oh yes, Franklin and Brock. And the thing about this one, I picked Brock, and I was wrong. Obviously, Franklin got the field goal at the end, but I felt like, I don't know if y'all will agree with me or not, but Brock overall dominated the game for the most part. Franklin started off really strong, went down, did well. Then kind of Brock took over, and it was Brock's. And then they just had that the play that changed the game was a strip fumble. Franklin defender, I can't think of his name. His 10,
last name was Owen. I know that. That's my kinfolk.
So here's what I'm gonna say. He
stripped it and ran all the way back for a touchdown. And that changed the whole game.
Here's what I'm gonna say though about that. To me, I never felt like either one of them truly had control over this game because every time they had a chance to go up, neither one of them could actually do it. They showed signs that they were moving the ball, but it always ended with a turnover or a 3 and out, and it was honestly, to me, I felt like it was going to come down to somebody making a mistake. That's what I felt like was going to happen.
So Franklin had those 2 running backs. Yeah, they were real solid.
They did. I wish I could remember. Was one of them named like Jaden or Javen or something?
Yeah.
I don't have none of my notes with me, but
I had my notes somewhere, but they got.
Yeah.
Oh wait, here we go. Maybe I found some. Jaden Jackson, 146 yards.
Okay.
Bryson Washington was the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fraggle Owens was the
that's my boy.
64 yard strip touchdown with 8 minutes left in the game. That's what they got ahead there. I mean,
Franklin's quarterback, and I mentioned this before, is an easy job in Texas. You don't make any passes. You may make 20 passes all year long. What's up, Chris?
What is the quote from what is the quote from Friday Night Lights? Your job is he said all you got to do is exist between the time it takes to snap the ball and hand it to Booby.
Right.
That's all you got. I could go play quarterback for them.
No, you can't. Don't do it.
I can't play quarterback. Let me go get my jersey.
20 years ago, maybe, but
give me Jackson at tailback. We finna run the table.
Vince, you good for one play.
I got one in me.
Till they pop you on it as one of those handoffs. They pop you.
He pivoted the wrong way. It's the lower back and the cartilage. Don't do that.
All at the same time.
Don't do that. I got my back. It happens, man.
Yeah.
But no, but in general, though, I think Franklin, like I said, they wore down. They wore down Brock. I thought Brock was well prepared. The game was well in the trenches. It was a very well coached football game. Both teams knew each other very well. Brock had that horrendous schedule in the preseason that I would never advise anybody to do ever. But it prepared them for the state finals. They lost 4 games and made it there. They lost the most games out of anybody that played in the state championships.
That's true.
So you got to play. You playing against teams that were either undefeated or lost 1, and they lost 4. And they were well prepared, but Franklin just kind of drove. It was a slow kill for them because they just kept grinding. Like I said, at the end of the game, that was the longest 5 minutes and 32 seconds or 36 seconds left in the football game, and just keep grinding it. So this is weird on the side. This shit's weird.
You don't want to pop this up, Bret? You
wow.
Pop that
up? It's like, who invited this guy?
That's a block. We've gotten big when these people are trying to.
When they trying to
you got
spam
sex spots right after, like, come on, man.
And I mean, they sending multiple. They just like, nope, let me send another one.
They want to keep saying they were just testing me, see how fast it would take me to block them.
Well,
another one.
They got different emojis on them, so maybe they're different sites.
I ain't about to find out. Different viruses is what you mean,
right? Well, no, I don't know. Like the game was close, but like I said, that was the longest 5 minutes and 36 seconds. In the fourth quarter. You knew Franklin wasn't going to give up the ball. It was 4th down, and they actually threw the ball on that drive. They went down, and then
the only pass.
One pass.
But you know what? That's coaching. That's coaching. They've been biting on the run all night, and now I'm finna drop back and throw one up.
Also, look,
that's coaching.
I don't know. I ain't know the quarterback.
Nah, there ain't no luck in that. He knew what was gonna happen.
Hey, quarterback Vince could have done that too, Corey.
Right. He was for one pass.
All I need is one play. Give me one play. I got to throw the ball one time. Oh, I'm gonna make that.
I was just glad it was finally a close state championship game. I said this is what the state game should be like.
I would have loved to see that again. Like I would like to see those two teams play again and see how that would turn out.
And I've always been an advocate.
Yeah,
right. I've always been an advocate of this, and I thought it was something that's really, really cool. The 0-week games, those teams play each other maybe like in a 0-week game at a neutral site, and they have like a bowl game somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if somebody, if they want to reinvent those or something like that. I've always liked that. Because you always want to get a chance to play each other again. Or what if it beats you this time? I like those games. So maybe some teams are better than. Nah, man, come on. You want to play each other. Let's play each other. Maybe it don't matter.
They're on different sides of the bracket. So you have to get back to state to play that.
You got to play that team. Yeah, you're right.
I like the chase to get back to them.
It's true.
Did y'all know, though, we could rematch this? We could rematch this game.
It could be.
You know how we do that?
How's that?
We can go to LoneStarGridiron.com and we can go play the board game.
Oh, it is right.
Friday Night Legends.
Yes.
Friday Night Legends.
Yes.
Man, you want to rematch that game? Hey.
Odessa Permian versus the West Canaan Coyotes.
Yeah.
All right.
We could play Carthage versus Alito.
West Canaan.
Alito, yeah, that'd be nice.
Ooh. I gotta ask Chris, is West Canaan on there? I don't know.
Hey,
Jonathan Moxon versus who? I can take him over anybody.
Any team.
Right. I gotta see how that game works.
I actually, I bought it for a family member this year. So
okay, let me know how that works.
Hopefully, I'll get to play it and we'll see how it works.
Bret plays with Chapel Hill, 1989 state championship team.
I play with the 2009 Lindell Eagle squad.
Oh
That's
my!
right.
Here we go. All right.
Okay.
Here. Oh
All right.
wait. Oh, sorry. Kyle's off.
he's
he
gone.
mentioned he's gonna play with Lindsay.
Come on, man. That's my senior year. We were district champs. We didn't have to
There we
worry
go.
about Chapel Hill. We were.
There we go.
That was probably lucky for
That's
you
true.
because we were good back in that time
Listen,
frame.
Our district was Murderers, Kilgore, White House, Nacogdoches, Mount Pleasant, like Jacksonville.
That's when they took
Kilgore.
all of that from us.
I heard Kilgore, and then the rest of them were just trash.
Well, hey, White House had Trey Matoya
White
at the time.
House,
Right. Yeah. White House was good back then.
Yeah,
they've never been
White
good.
House had a
Was White
7-year
House
window.
Nac was fast and big.
That
Jacksonville
was when
good.
That was when Nac was like ranked in the state for like the first time in like 20 some odd years.
Jacksonville had that running back that was really good. I can't remember his name now.
Kennedy?
Huh?
I think his name was Kennedy or something like that.
Something. Anyway, just nostalgia. Carry on.
Bringing up all stuff.
What's the next game?
The next game was the Carthage Bulldogs played
In Wembley.
I don't know who they played. They played the JV team, I think.
Blanked them.
Wimberley just should have just stayed home. They could have saved some money on gas and
Carthage put in the B
travel.
team in the second half.
Big Red Machine showed up.
Talking about a beatdown. This one was just anything Carthage wanted, they got. And man, was it ugly. I mean, not that I was complaining because it was my team that I was rooting for, but you gotta feel bad for Wimberley. You know,
you gotta feel bad to make the state and have all your people there, and then you don't score at all.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's tough.
That is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. At least give me 7. Like
Post give me 7. Yeah, Post gave you 7.
Yeah.
Post said, "I'm not leaving here without something."
I came this far.
I came with something. I'm taking the star off this wall or something.
Needless to say, everybody picked Carthage in this one, so no surprises there. We all were on that board. I think was I the only one that picked Brock in the other game? Did everybody else have Franklin?
Yeah, I had Franklin.
So
no, I picked Brock. I think I picked Brock too.
I wasn't picking against that slot T offense.
I think I picked Franklin.
Yeah, that may be the difference. That may be why me and Vince had 6 and y'all had 7. That was probably that.
I don't think I won until I got to Carthage. I didn't win a game till Carthage played.
I think I swayed Corey over to Franklin's side, talking about the slot T offense. You're welcome, Corey.
It's the slot T, baby. I wasn't picking Brock. I was picking against Brock. Everybody, Brock.
No, Corey. The only reason Corey picked against Brock because they beat his Malakoff team.
Yeah.
That's why I picked. That. See, you can look at the face. You know it's true. He can't argue with it.
There it is, right there.
I was pissed.
That's the only reason that he picked him. It wasn't anything to do with Franklin. It was because he didn't want to pick Brock.
I was pissed.
Same reason that he didn't pick Alito. We'll talk about that. We're not quite there. We'll talk about it.
That was the dumbest pick I had all day because Alito came out. And I was like, Alito finna beat them by they just finna that. Why did he even play? They shouldn't even play. That was
all
bad.
Right, wait, Corey, wait. We're gonna get to that one. Sorry, I got it. I got too early on that. We're gonna talk the China Spring Bernie game. This was a tale of two different parts of the game. I had Bernie, and I thought I had a good chance there after the first quarter as Bernie jumped out on 21-0, kind of like the same thing did at Chapel Hill. But China Spring, I think the difference to me in watching them play Bernie was the passing game. The passing game. Cade McCollum, the quarterback, he was able to throw the ball around. Chapel Hill kind of struggled in their passing game and weren't able to do anything against Bernie's up front. I think if you're able to pass the ball around, then it makes them go out and have to cover. Now you open the run game up, and they were able to run on them once they got the passing game going. That's kind of what my take was on that one, why it kind of shifted. Also, I'll give credit to China Spring coach that he made some adjustments, and they just started clicking.
There's a reason why they top dog. There's a reason why. It's not going to be easy beating them. It's never going to be easy.
Well, I was up with the game anyway. As long as Bernie lost, I didn't care.
Well, here we go. The only reason he picked Bernie is because they beat Chapel Hill. Here we go.
I didn't pick Bernie. I was going for China Springs.
See,
Honestly, to be honest with you, though,
I did pick China Springs too.
I felt China Springs gonna win. I was more focused on the 5A games this championship round. I was more I knew Carthage was gonna get this win. I was more focused on DeSoto, Duncanville, and Oak Cliff. I was more focused on those games. I know we hadn't talked about those yet, but championship round, I was more focused on all three of those games.
all right. Well, let's go to those. Let's the next one up there, South Oak Cliff PNG, the acronym bowl as we called it. South Oak Cliff gets
this was
the
a good
win.
game too.
It was. It was a good game until South Oak Cliff kind of flexed their muscle a little bit. It was one of those games where PNG just couldn't. They lasted up until, and that was up until they just couldn't take it anymore. And South Oak Cliff just dominated the rest of the game. And everyone that saw the game saw the exact same thing. It's like, how can they keep taking the same hits? Can they keep making their mistake away? It's okay. South Oak Cliff, when are they going? And they finally just stretched the lead and stretched it out a little bit more, and then stretched it out a little bit more. And then right after that quarterback went down, he got popped, which I thought was a penalty. He got popped, and that was the end of the game. That was over for them.
And I don't want to ignore our people here. We got some chats coming in.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on.
Let's
see. Was still going.
We got Reggie McGowan. They couldn't stop Noah Patty. That's the Carthage receiver. Definitely not. Christian says Carthage game was inevitable. Yeah, we kind of thought that. Derek says he picked Brock, and surprise, surprise, Derek's blaming the referees. Refs kind of altered the Brock game. Is that just like his thing, isn't it?
Sometimes you're right. I don't think so this time.
Let's see.
If you leave it in the ref's hand, you already lost.
China Spring made adjustments at halftime. Absolutely, we agree with that. Number 7 was unstoppable first half. That was the Bernie receiver, probably Bays, the receiver for Bernie. Let's see. Derek said Bernie didn't look right after the half. Well, that's because China Spring made the adjustments and changed their game plan a little bit. And then Derek says PNG brought the whole city. Yeah, they
passed it out.
They did. Unfortunately for them, they traveled a long way to see their team lose. As SOC back-to-back champs.
I'm happy for SOC. I like that.
I am too. You know
DOE,
the motto,
right?
Dallas
DOE.
over everything. I should have been up there with my sweatshirts. Dallas over everything. I'm telling you, man, I'd have made some money that day. Yeah.
My favorite when he said Southside the realest. He said, I can't wait for all 3 teams to win. He said Southside the realest.
Yeah, I
that was the funniest interview. That was the funniest interview right there, man.
The next game we had Aledo College Station, and we'll let Corey explain to us. Did anybody else pick College Station?
No.
Corey, why did you think College Station had any chance in this game?
The same reason you picked Dallas over the Jaguars, because you thought they would win, and I thought College Station would win. And it didn't happen. And it didn't happen.
That's not even the same scenario, Corey.
But you thought they would win, but they didn't. I told you they weren't going to win. I told you this is Bradley went through. But anyway,
no, you think the 49ers are going to win every week because they're your team.
I don't think they're going to win every week.
Station, you have no alliance either one of these teams.
I don't think the 49ers are going to win every week. However, I thought maybe College Station had gotten to this point now that they would be able to beat the team. They got to the championship game before last year. They didn't win the year before. Maybe the experience and everything else, the coaching. Maybe they come out here and get them a win over Aledo. It was written in the stars for them to do so. It's rarely you get a third opportunity to win a state championship in a row. So the second one you make best on the opportunity. Unfortunately, they played Aledo, which has 11 championships. They breed champions. I don't know how, but they do it. And you ran into a buzzsaw. They couldn't do anything. They had picks, and it was like you were playing Madden 99 all over again. You throw one route, one play, and it's touchdown, and it's house. It was embarrassing. Yeah. But hey, they got to the state championship again without their leading running back, so it didn't matter.
Alito had other plans and
pretzel.
bent College Station over like a pretzel. Wow. Oh man, yeah. This one's almost uglier than the Carthage game to me. They were just like one
because
strike.
Alito
Boom.
just
It was a
took
mismatch.
what they wanted.
They look like, to me, Lido was playing a 3A school. Like they felt like they were just overmatched, oversized, had more speed. Really did just look like a JV they were playing against. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It was really sad watching it.
Like I turned the channel at one point. I was like, man, whatever they want, they get.
Yeah,
Right.
I did that with half the state games. I changed it midway through.
Yeah.
I hope he didn't change it on the China Spring Bernie game.
No.
I didn't watch that game all the way
either. You're just salty, Corey.
You got a sore part. Yeah, you just salty.
You're right.
You're salty.
You're right. I was ready for basketball season to start.
You once Chapel Hill lost, you was already in basketball season.
I just want to see.
I'm telling you, Corey was outside that night hooping.
My mind changed. I was like, all right.
Yeah. He flipped that switch immediately.
We got the next game up. Another mismatch. DeSoto over Vandegrift. Yeah, I mean that one was the score didn't entail how much the teams was a mismatch. I mean, I feel like DeSoto could have easily been ahead a lot sooner in the game.
It took them a while to get started.
Once they got rolling, then they were just going to beat. Yeah, they couldn't beat them.
Those other schools played tough. Those other schools played tough, no doubt. It was just going to end in DeSoto. That's all it was. DeSoto was going to win the game. They wore them down, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened to South Oak Cliff. They wore down the opponent, and when it got to the fourth quarter, they just didn't have any gas, and they just kept running the ball. Eventually, you keep knocking on the door, somebody's going to answer, and that's exactly what happened. You keep running the same play. Eventually, you're going to catch a break, and that's exactly what they did. And they kept getting first down, kept chipping away. 3 yards here, 4 yards here, 3 yards here, boom. And then next thing you know, got a first down, and boom, a touchdown. So that's what happened.
I just sent y'all a TikTok from Max Preps of DeSoto coming out of the tunnel at AT&T Stadium. The hypest entrance, bro. The hypest.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
If I would have seen that before the game,
I saw it because I was like, dude got on the championship belt. I was like, man, they came ready to play.
They know how to do it. They got the championship.
Yeah, I saw that, man. I was like,
yeah,
dude.
Their media team is A+. DeSoto's media team is A+.
Maybe I start wearing the belt to our game.
No.
Come on.
No, don't do that.
I'll play my own music too. I'll come out with
See, the difference is those are young kids.
Bloodline entrance.
The difference is those are young kids and they got on chains and pads and they don't want to see a 40-year-old guy with a championship belt on, with a wrestler belt on. That's not going.
If you want to see a 40-year-old guy with a championship belt on, you just need to turn on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. You'll see it all over the place.
Right? Yeah. Those are professionals. We're gonna leave that to the professionals. That's all you got to do.
We're not professionals, Corey. Remember that? We're not professionals.
No. But you gotta put it behind.
Kyle's the professional.
I'm exactly professional here.
Now, I mean, I just wouldn't want to wear a belt like that.
Man, I'm just telling you, if I ever played on a team like this, oh my God,
It's hype. It's hype, isn't it? Like that media team is phenomenal.
Derek was late to the party. He missed out. We announced all that earlier. Derek, where were you at? I said
the refs won, Derek.
It was the ref's fault. It's the ref's fault. But I actually retained my title, Pick'em champ. You tied me, Derek, but I retained. I retained my title.
Championship advantage.
Yeah. I won the playoffs by one pick. So good run though. You did win. You did win. Our fan pick'em this year. So congratulations. Yeah. Eddie might have been able to catch you, but he quit picking the last 3 weeks. We hadn't heard from him. You might want to check on Eddie. He's been hiding out.
I know.
All right, y'all want to talk about the last one here, man?
This was my favorite game for the whole 4 days. This is the best game.
This is what we waited on.
Yeah.
This is what everybody's waiting on. You had to end it like this. I couldn't imagine if if Alito was the last game we saw Saturday night. Like, man, that would have just been disappointing.
Yeah,
But this Duncanville, it was hype. It was first of all, Duncanville came out in that all black. That right there told the story for me. I was ready right then. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. DeSoto already got their win. Sock already got theirs. I was ready. I was ready.
Go ahead.
You thought I was from Dallas.
I was gonna say I was at the family function, so I didn't watch it. I kept updated on my phone.
It felt like a college game. Like these boys were hitting. They were hitting on both sides. There were athletes on both sides.
The Simmons kid impressed me. The DN for Duncanville.
Yes, number 8.
He was all in the backfield there towards the end of the game. Like they couldn't contain.
He got that penalty at the end. But I mean, outside of that penalty, man, he was unstoppable. He was easily the MVP.
Yeah. It was the best game, and I'm happy for Coach Samples, man. I'm glad he finally got him one. Like
that's what I was happy for. Coach
finally got him one. But
they didn't even shake hands at the end. They just started celebrating, and everybody just
they knew what's up
with it. North Shore just left. They were like, all right, let them have it, man.
They knew what's up. Southside the realest. They knew what's up.
Yeah.
Sad thing is, probably these two teams back in the state game next year will have a part 5.
Oh yeah. I don't know if they could do that, man.
I'm okay with that. I'll watch those teams play a best of 7 series.
I'm okay with that. I'll take that.
Well, you got Duncanville. The Simmons kid return. Both MVPs are just juniors. Yep. Yeah, you got the running back. Caden Durham was the offensive MVP. He's a junior, and then the Simmons kid that's basically got an offer from every single big school there is.
Every single school you can think of,
and you can see why. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Mm-hmm. I mean, you couldn't handle him. He was tall. He's kind of a lankier DN, but he was tall and athletic.
But just think, at the next level, they're gonna put muscle on him.
Yeah, he almost reminded me of, and y'all are gonna all say that y'all are gonna give me a hard time, but Micah Parsons.
I can see that though, because he.
No,
but look, I can see.
No, but it is even an Eagles person.
I'll defend you, Bret, because he took over the game, and Micah has that capability of taking over the game, and so I like that. I like that.
Because he likes to rush. He likes to rush on in stand. Like he doesn't get down on the off. He
was disturbing every play.
Yes,
and every time that guy. I mean, he was everywhere.
Yeah,
Amador, the quarterback. He's gonna have dreams about that guy for a couple weeks.
That kid was good too. And if I understood correctly, he's not their starting quarterback. Their quarterback got hurt.
No, they had a quarterback. The quarterback last year was a freshman that led him to state. Can't think of his name, but he got injured, and so he had to slide over from receiver and play quarterback. So that's impressive, that he's able to do that. But
which then makes you question what is going to happen next year with them. So, do you bring back the injured quarterback, or do you start the receiver back?
I think he's a senior.
Contest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
I thought they both were a little young.
I can't remember. He had an offer somewhere, and I can't think of off the top of my head. Derek says that China Spring Burning was the best game of the week, in his opinion.
It was pretty good. It was a pretty good game.
It was a good
game. Amador committed to UTSA.
Got some good recruits.
Real quickly, we talk about how Duncanville may be back next year because both their MVPs were juniors. So Carthage, their top 4 running backs, 3 of them are juniors, one's a freshman. The defensive line starters, 3 of them are sophomores. And the offensive line starters, 2 of the 5 are sophomores. So Carthage, like Corey says, big red machine.
And the Surratt's son will be a sophomore, probably starting quarterback next year.
So I know we mentioned that. Is it me or does it feel like the state's best teams are filled with juniors and sophomores? Like it's almost as if best
here's
class
what I said.
It's like the 23 and the 24
on TV,
side.
they were talking about this on TV when it came to Carthage. And they said, oh, all of these boys are homegrown. And I can't tell you exactly what came out of my mouth because it's a little bit, rough for some. But I just immediately was like, there is no way. I've been to Carthage a million times.
Homegrown's the wrong
There
way.
is no way that there is probably 3 families supporting that school out there.
Yeah.
They must just keep having babies over and over and over again. There ain't no way that you putting out that many kids with that much talent.
Homegrown is not the correct word. They are not homegrown. They may be in the Carthage area, but they are not homegrown.
I'm starting to question, are they in the Carthage area too? Where did y'all come from for real? I don't know, because ain't nobody living out there.
Vince, they got some apartments empty out there they use as addresses.
Vince, you said this before. You said, man, if I had all this money, I'd be like a donor. I could just donate. So that's what happens when you go to Carthage. I don't know who it is, but you make all that money.
That's what I'm getting at, Corey.
You could slide.
What's really going on? That's what I'm trying to get at. What's really going on?
We need a 30 for 30 on the Carthage Bull.
We need something. I need an investigation.
What if I
need to find out what's happening
in East Texas?
The big red machine.
So you've got Surratt. He's been there 16 years and he's won 9 titles.
Yeah,
that means every other year you're getting a title.
And he's Jordan in the championship games. He don't lose.
He don't miss.
9-0.
Don't miss.
Don't miss. 9-0.
It's like, what do you like? What like? Okay, well, I want to play. I want to play for Carthage. Cool. We win championships here. We were defeated in the regular season.
This kind of reminds me of a story I'm gonna tell y'all. A long time ago, when I was a kid, my dad, he bought me a fish tank, and he bought me all these different types of fish. I had like a fish that was I had an eel. I had a goldfish that would like urinate in the bowl or something. I had to move him around. But I had all these other little fish. And then one day he brought me this fish that was a little different. He told me it was a shark, is what it was. Right. But it wasn't huge. It was just small. It was a decent size, but I put him in the same bowl with everybody else. Every day I came home from school, one of my other fish was dead. They were floating. And it was like I turned my back, the shark was killing off the other fish. Now, mind you, I had an eel in there, which was the biggest fish in my bowl at the time. And the eel it had its little spots, it used to hide over here, chill over there. One day I came home and I couldn't find my eel. I spent 2 hours, I think, about looking for it. Had my dad look for it. He can't find it. We don't know what happened to it. And come to find out, the eel had jumped out the water. It had decided that it would rather.
Hold on, Vince. You telling me you had a fish tank and you couldn't find the eel and y'all looked for it for 2 hours? Where could it
2
go?
hours.
Where could it go in 2 hours?
So I'm like 8 or 9 years old, bro. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, when he ate the other fish, there was remnants of the other fish. Like, did he swallow the eel whole? Like, I'm like, it don't even make sense because the eel was bigger than him.
That was the worst fish hunt I've ever heard of in my time.
But bro, I'm looking and I'm like, and we had like a little skull too, and he used to be up under there sometimes, under the bridge we had. I'm looking, I don't see him. But then my dad found him, and he was on the side of we had it on a dresser type thing, and he was on the side over there, lifeless. And my dad was like, yeah, he basically he didn't want to take that L that everybody else was taking in the bowl.
So he just got out.
So he checked out. And it reminds me of Carthage.
I was wondering how you gonna tie this back in.
Because Carthage is the shark. Carthage is the shark. And I'm realizing now, I don't want to be in that bowl with Carthage.
You rather jump out.
I'm gonna jump out if I have to. They because somebody mentioned it earlier to me back after they won their game. They said they need to move Carthage around, and I'm like thinking in my mind, like, where you finna move them to? He ain't finna come over here with us. You stay where you at.
Wait a minute.
Like, you stay where you at. I don't need you over here.
Wait a minute. Can you imagine? Can y'all imagine coming into the room and all the sharks are sitting there and all the fish in the tank talking about O-E-I-O-O-E.
Maybe Vince, this is how when realignment comes around, how all the other schools feel. They don't want to be in the bowl with Carthage. Like, how much money do I got to pay to be in a different district?
Moral of the story: do not jump in a bowl with a shark.
They're gonna cash out. They're gonna pay the UIL $10,000 to not be in the same district with Carthage.
Because even some of the bigger fish don't want no part of it.
Move me up. They're like, move me up to region. Move me up to Division 1.
I don't want to be in right now. 2. There are people thinking that, like, I don't want to be in this district with them. I don't want to be on this side.
Carthage is from now on. Carthage is from now on independent. They
just play all these other teams.
They just play they're automatically granted a Division II playoff if they finish the season undefeated.
Now, I'm not sure how true this is too, though. Hold on. I'm not sure how true this is too, but somebody told me that every time they won, they was whooping up on people. Like, it wasn't like no close ones. But I never checked into that. I didn't so I don't know.
They didn't play a close game all year.
No, it's
the only reason until Gilbert. When they put in their sub.
No, I'm talking about the state games that they played.
They don't play.
Like all the states.
Hey, here's a fact. Here's a fact that Drews gave me. Carthage has scored 112 straight points in state championships.
Because that Gilmer game.
Yeah, Gilmer scored the first 14 points. And so then they retaliated with 70, and then they put 42 up straight in this one. So right now, they've got a record going right now of 112 straight points.
You remember when Scud Vargas was beating up Ralphie in Christmas Cup? That's how Carthage was. That's how Carthage beats Gilmer. It's like, well, you want to cry? It's like every time that it just pisses you off. And what? Gilmer's gonna get that one time. He's gonna get tired. He'll get pissed off, and he's gonna go right out the car. He's gonna run.
It put Eddie in hiding. We hadn't seen Eddie since Carthage.
Since that whooping. We have not seen Eddie since that whooping at all. He didn't even come on the show that week before the whooping. He was just done. He was already through.
He's still seeing red.
Yeah.
He said, "What does it look like outside?" Sonny with a chance of me, but I'm not going outside. I'm not going out there.
Nah.
Dogs. But I don't listen. Hey, I would like I said, I would like to see them play a nice schedule. Maybe they play a Lancaster team or somebody like that or some I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but I don't think that it'll happen. Not in football. They don't do that in football. Classifications are like that for a reason.
They don't like to do that. That's why they're gonna keep winning where they at, because they don't like to do that in football.
Hey, Spitz, since we're talking about this now, let's talk about our polls.
Go ahead.
So we're gonna do our end of the year polls. We've added Kyle in the mix since he's officially now under.
I got a hat.
And he's got a hat. He's got a badge. I'm gonna get it to him next week. Corey.
Corey. We said Kyle was our second round draft pick. Corey.
He was Mr. Irrelevant, remember?
Bret said you was like the fifth round.
The fifth round. What? The fifth round.
Hey, Corey.
He said
if you were
taking a chance on you.
Only if you were professional, Corey, then you might have been up in the higher rounds with Kyle.
I'm the undrafted. I'm the undrafted pick. I'll go undrafted.
He's the raw talent.
Look at it. Listen
He's
at
the raw talent.
He believes in his talent. He believes in his talent.
I paid the money for the tryout. That's what I did. I paid money for the tryout, and I made the practice squad.
We're gonna have to raise Kyle's salary though, so we don't lose him.
Yeah,
right.
Man. Look, I will. When it comes to negotiation time, I'm a tough negotiator, man. I'll hold out for more money. I won't report to training camp.
Right, there we go. I won't report to training camp. I'm not gonna pull a Jackson. Like, what was he thinking, man? Give me my money, but pay me, sir. Yeah. Pay me.
Let's start 6A, 5A. Honestly, there was no change really between the polls
shouldn't have been
last
really.
time and this time. Even Ed and Kyle's voted in, we still pretty much had the same. Anonymous across the board. Longview number 1, obviously. We had White House 2, Texas High 3, Hallsville and Lancaster tied at 4, Lufkin 6, Marshall 7, Forney 8, Tyler High 9, Mount Pleasant 10. Any thoughts on any of those?
Nope.
I had Tyler High at 10 because I almost left him off the whole thing.
I'll be honest with you, I would, but we don't.
We're going to change it next year. I think we're going to make this a little bit smaller number because we can't. Tyler High shouldn't even on the board.
No.
Mount Pleasant, no.
But that's because there's not enough 5A and 6A schools in East Texas
unless you
to pick from.
What do you mean? So do you want to? You want to only do 5 teams, 5, or do you want to add
just top 5?
No, you don't want to add them.
Well, when you get somebody like Corey, okay, and we'll pick him. Corey. He doesn't include Lancaster in his poll.
I'm not including East Texas.
They're in an East Texas district. We don't have enough teams, so you're telling me you're going to leave Lancaster out, but you're gonna put Tyler High at your 7th spot.
Seventh spot.
So let's just make it a rule. We were playing under the unofficial rule. Let's make it a rule. If it's in the East Texas district, on East Texas team, let's make it a rule.
We've been saying that all year, Corey.
We waited like
changed your thing all year.
We waited like 3 or 4 weeks. I was sticking to what I was sticking to mentally. I'm going with that.
Raise your hand if you had Tyler Legacy in your poll.
I don't think anybody had Legacy in the poll. I didn't want to pick Legacy.
Except for
I would have left Tyler High out if I could have found somebody else.
He had Legacy in his poll.
Okay, well they were the worst of the letter.
Didn't Legacy beat Tyler High?
Yes, but he put Legacy below Tyler High.
Corey, man.
Kyle, see what I have to deal with every week with our polls.
Well, I think for me,
involved in the polls here.
I will say this though. For me, Legacy, Tyler High, Mount Pleasant, and Pine Tree, I didn't know what to do with any of them schools. So it didn't to me.
They shouldn't be in the. They shouldn't.
Be they shouldn't be in there. So I just threw one up.
I like the top 5 idea, especially for 6A and 5A. Because
top 5 idea. The top 5 idea. Yes, I agree with that.
But maybe for 4A and down, you can still do 10 because there's more of those schools, East Texas schools. But 6A and 5A, you got to start.
Like it's going to be hard at 3. 3A is going to be your hardest because there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
Well, that is because and 4A is tough as far as
4A is tough. But if you said I had to do 5, I could force myself to do 5 and live with it. It's just that 3A, even your number 10 team could have easily made a run.
There was a lot of difference. There was a lot of difference in our lower polls.
Yeah.
But 4A is so strong, it's hard to just limit to 5. I mean, when you've got what 15 to 16 teams.
I could have cut off. Who did I have? 4A. I had.
So we all had
Pleasant Grove. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we all had Lancaster in a poll, and we had Forney. Corey didn't put either of those teams. So he replaced those teams in his poll.
Who do you have?
Here's Corey's poll. Okay. Longview, White House, Texas High, Hallsville, Lufkin, Marshall, Tyler High, Legacy, Mount Pleasant, Pine Tree.
Okay. Well, other than the Lancaster one, I could say I see what you were doing, Corey, with staying.
You just
East
put
Texas
everybody
schools.
at the bottom.
That's what I'm saying. I'm staying with East Texas. That's the only thing. That's the only difference. Just because in the district,
we started the year with East Texas, and we realized some of these
there
teams
wasn't a lot of those schools, so we
there weren't a lot of schools, so we decided that we were going to start doing. Corey, as stubborn as he was, he just said, "I'm not putting the team in there that's not East Texas." And then
I respect that, Corey.
Then he wouldn't put Kaufman in there. He said they weren't East Texas. So
they're not. They're on the fringe.
They're close.
They're on the fringe. Is Terrell East Texas?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. No. They're not in Dallas. They're on this side.
Brett, cut this off.
I'm with you, Corey. I'm with you. I don't think Terrell and Kaufman are East Texas schools. I would consider them Dallas.
If you had to rope them in to somewhere, you would probably half the people would probably say Kaufman, half the people would probably say Terrell would be in East Texas.
So is Forney East Texas?
I see Forney's not East Texas. I don't think Forney is East Texas.
They were in the district with the East Texas teams, and by
Yeah,
default, I would rather put a team that's on a fringe, maybe just out, than put a team that's like won 2 games.
So let me say this though. Yeah,
East Texas, and they were in the same district with Tyler Hyde a year ago.
So what Brett's saying is like his last 4 teams probably got like 5 wins between all of them.
But that's because
I know what he's saying.
Interesting. We can add Lancaster. We can add.
I know what he's saying. I don't want to do that. I'm just saying they're not East Texas school. I don't have any coverage for those schools. I'm not keeping up with them.
So why don't we add Mesquite in there since they're in the same district with
Luskin? I'll be honest with you. I don't have a problem with it.
I think for 6A, 5A, it should be a top 5 because there's not enough schools.
Because I'd rather.
We talked about that, but once we started picking, and we kind of had to finish, it would have been kind of
Then it became attack on Corey for like 9 weeks, and
I'm with you now, though, Corey. I'm with you. You got some backup. Tag me in. Hold on.
I took it on the chin.
Tag me in.
There we go. Yeah.
Wrong way.
Here we go.
Y'all can't get y'all tags right. Come on now.
Listen, I'm digitally declined or whatever you want to call it. I don't. What? Hey, it's whatever. I don't know.
But mostly there we had pretty much the same teams. Thankfully, Vince and I usually outweighed Corey every week, so we were able to get those teams in the polls and get the ones out that weren't supposed to.
Not next year, Corey. I'm with you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're gonna tell you.
They already plotted this. They're gonna throw the whole bracket in the trash. Well, y'all done poll going in the trash.
Y'all done put us on the bottom of the screen, so we gotta stay together.
Well, why I gotta be on the bottom right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand how y'all don't understand Kaufman being where they at. Like, how is that not East Texas?
That's a wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Vince, we'll take up most of the screen. We'll let them two share a corner.
Y'all can get that small little spot.
No, but
like on the other show where you can just mute somebody. What's that show called?
Around the Horn.
Around the Horn. Yeah, I couldn't even think of the name of it.
I can do that.
Everybody gets points and stuff, and then
I can say, Kyle and Vince or Kyle and Corey are muted now, so they don't have they can't talk.
Okay.
So
that might be something we do next year. We argue and get points or something like that. That'd be cool.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right, let's do 4A. All right, so again, 4A, everybody was unanimous. Carthage obviously was number 1.
Carthage, Gilmer,
we had Gilmer and Chapel Hill tied at 2 with 32 points. We had Pleasant Grove at 4, Kilgore 5, Center 6, Lindale 7, Kaufman 8, Sulphur Springs 9, and Rusk 10. Thoughts?
I had Pleasant Grove over Chapel Hill and Kilgore.
Well, sorry, Kyle. Your thoughts are now no longer.
I knew who was going to do that.
Honestly, I'm trying to think. I think I had Pleasant Grove.
You did too, Vince. Well, you should be muted.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Me and Corey had Chapel Hill too. They made it to the semifinals. They were one step away from the state game.
Let me ask
Carthage won state. They obviously were the second best team.
You think Chapel Hill would beat Gilmer?
If they played again, yes.
Hold on.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I took into account was the fact that Pleasant Grove had to go through Carthage.
Right.
So to me, I just said, well, obviously everybody over there had to go through Carthage, and nobody can come.
Okay, so just because Gilmer got eliminated before Pleasant Grove, so why didn't Pleasant Grove too then, Vince?
Gilmer beat Pleasant Grove in district though.
There you go.
But they lasted longer in the playoffs.
That's because, just seeding.
That's because Gilmer had to play Carthage in the 3rd round. If Pleasant Grove would have played Carthage in the 3rd round, Pleasant Grove would have went home early.
Come on with me. Kyle got my back.
I'm with everybody.
Kyle dropping that knowledge.
I went with Chapel Hill because I was debating this too, and I was like, man, Gilmer. Kilgore was clearly going to be number 4 or 5, wherever they're going to be at. I didn't think they were better
I
than
wasn't worried about
Chapel Hill, Gilmer. I would better. Now the Gilmer thing, I think Chapel Hill, if they were to play him again, I think it would have been a different story. It may have been a closer game, maybe even a win for Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill hit a stride late in the season. They were playing their best football at late, and I think Gilmer was playing their best football as of late. Pleasant Grove was playing pretty good football late in the season too. I gave the edge to Chapel Hill. I think, that Blue Storm defense was playing some pretty good football, and they were kind of making some ways out of no way. And I'm not doing it for just being a homer. I thought that was probably some of the good football, some of the best football they played, and they hit that Bernie game, and wasn't nothing they could have done. Bernie was clearly the second best team, or maybe the first best team in the state of Texas in Class 4A, and they were pretty good. And not to disrespect them, they got beat by China Spring, but Bernie was pretty good. That defense was legit.
Carthage is number 1 on 6A, 5A, and 4A. Wow.
Honestly, I could have just put Carthage 1 through 10 and just been done, because it didn't matter. It don't matter after Carthage.
Everybody else, you got to have everybody else.
Everybody else has to have permission to be on this list.
Pretty much.
I don't know about Liberty Ilo there, Derek.
I don't know about LE.
Ask Vince about LE.
Nope. I learned my lesson about that. I was done with them.
Here's my thing with Gilmer. Gilmer held Carthage to 28 points in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody else hold Carthage to under 30?
No.
So
nobody.
I think had Gilmer not run into Carthage, Gilmer could have won it.
They would have been.
I'm not saying they would have won,
man,
but they would have been.
Listen to what Kyle is saying, y'all. I'm telling you, that's what I was thinking too.
Be the second best team in 4A.
That's why I said that earlier, because some people feel like that about Gilmer.
Unfortunately for Gilmer, they couldn't beat Carthage, so therefore
they have to go.
Nobody did.
Nobody can.
So that's too bad for Gilmer. But
Carthage is a brick wall.
I think there's no team on this list except Carthage that if Chapel Hill was to play at the end of the season, that they would be able to get beat by. I think Carthage would be the only team that could beat Chapel Hill on this list.
I wouldn't go there for.
Look at it. Gilmer beat us.
I don't think
by a couple touchdowns early in the season, and we gave them all those turnovers. And
I'm gonna tell you this. The last time I checked, Chapel Hill hadn't beat Carthage, Gilmer, or Pleasant Grove.
So why'd you have him at number 2 then?
Because I think that team was better. I think Chapel was playing good football. But I'm just answering what I was saying.
When I do it, I don't think about them playing each other. Like that's not what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking about I'm putting together the resume of what they did and where they failed in playoffs and what they had to go through, how they performed in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I look at the Pleasant Grove and then I look at Chapel Hill, and I think I could swap them two and do 2 and 3 and 4. But for me, looking at how Gilmer ran their season and it only ending short, and this is just my belief as to how they've played everybody else and managed to come up with the wins that they did. It only ran short because they ran into, to me, it only ran short because they ran into Carthage. Had they not run into Carthage, to me, I see that team going to state. So
that's the VCS.
So that's why
standings.
To me,
the VCS standings.
There you go. That's
you looked at the resume. I feel like you're talking about the VCS. I looked at the resumes. Strength of schedule.
That's how I do it. I really do. I know that. I love the college football. So
over here. This is
Ask Vince how his writing it down did. What happened? That 4 and 6 we had, or 6 and 4 teams. All these
5 and 2 teams.
I had that's what I had right there. I had all that madness down.
I had all the 5 and 2s right here.
But I love the college game so much, and I think that's where I mostly get it from. But if I had to look at it from like who do I think would beat who, man, it just makes it harder for me because you can be better and still lose. That's the thing.
Okay. There's one thing I have to point out here, Vince. We have a red alert here as Corey put Kaufman in his poll. Corey, so now you decided the first time all season that you included Kaufman after you just said a few minutes ago they weren't East Texas. So what's your stance?
I was being petty.
He finally gave
Oh,
up.
Petty LaBelle.
He looked at a map.
Petty.
Is what happened, and he found out where they were.
When I submitted, I was like, "Watch, he's gonna highlight this."
He's like, "Oh, you mean I've
this.
driven by Kaufman every time I went out there to Dallas? Oh, I didn't know that."
And Corey, you're the only one that gave Van a vote.
Yeah,
What you didn't vote for Sulphur Springs?
No, I put Kaufman in there.
Well, we all had Kaufman and Sulphur Springs.
You know what? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I got my picks in real late. I copied and just moved around who I wanted to move around with who was already in there. So
I've done that before. See, me and Kyle, we be vibing sometimes because I've done that a million times already.
Look, I know Vince does that.
I probably would have taken Rusk out. I would have taken Rusk out and moved Sulphur down to 10 and put Van in. No, Sulphur down to 9, put Van in at 10. That's what I would have done.
Van wasn't bad. Van wasn't bad.
No, I didn't put Van. I took Van.
I think
out.
Van would have been. I would have put Van in over Rusk. I didn't realize that till now. I would have put Van in over Rusk.
I think that's what I did. I put
Van
Rusk
beat
in.
Rusk head to head.
I'm gonna say this.
I forgot that.
I'm gonna say this. Center could very well have been better than Kilgore. And I thought about that long and hard. I thought about putting center above
I thought
Kilgore.
about that too. Because I wanted to put center up, but I said, man,
I thought they
want to play center was good, man.
But you know what? Watching Kilgore and how they played Chapel Hill the second time made me just respect them a little bit more. And I said, I'm gonna have to put them over center right now. But I wanted to put center over them. I really did. Center had a really good year.
Wow, next year I gotta.
But I can't wait until we get to do these again. And we get to pick a preseason poll, and they
got the home and aways. I want some Carthage and Chapel Hill and Kilgore and center matchups and all of that. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, I don't think we all pretty much had the same. I think we had that people that got votes. Earlier in the season, we had Liberty Allo and Paris and Palestine kind of all fell down on the wayside, and Van got one vote, but everything else was pretty straightforward. Now, this last one, this 3A2A was interesting. Now, I got a beef with you three.
Yeah, I got a beef with
all
y'all.
Yeah,
I got a beef here.
Here we go.
We got the team that made it farthest out of District 5. Okay, Pottsboro. Nobody else voted for Pottsboro in their poll.
That's not East Texas.
Except for it is East Texas. It's the district.
Oh, okay. They're in the district with East Texas.
They're in the district.
East Texas.
See? I keep saying it. Saying it.
Okay. All right. Now let me because I agree with the rule, Bret, but I will say this time I had so many other teams that were right here locally or closer
but they did better than all of them.
They did.
Let me go down and list how not the only team you had Mount Vernon, which I had in. They won a playoff game. You had Winsboro won a playoff game. Carlisle won. West Russ, Cooper, Pottsboro. Who'd you say?
Quitman.
Yeah, Quitman. I'm looking at Derek. He's got a quote there like Quitman.
Quitman.
Yeah.
Whoa. Did he see something different than we did?
That must be a typo.
That's got to be
Quitman, then Mount Vernon, and then Timpson.
Oh, no disrespect.
Derek, what are you doing?
No, he put Beckville way at the bottom.
He put Mount Vernon too.
I mean, being disrespectful. And I
look off last.
He's trolling. He's trolling.
Joaquin over
he
Cooper
really is right now.
Joaquin.
He's knowing how to push the buttons. He's grinding the gears right now. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Now that was the one thing that I did notice in the poll, and I've kind of left Pottsboro all year. I was not a big I wasn't sold on them, but they did do the best in the playoffs, so I did kind of bump them up. My thinking was the district with that I'd kind of been behind all year. Tatum, Jefferson, Atlanta. I had to leave all them out. Yeah. You don't show up for the playoffs like that. Sorry, this poll's too tough. You can't make the poll if you're going to show up and throw up a zero. Here's how the standings turned out, and then we'll talk about because we got all different here. This will be good conversation. Obviously, Timpson number 1. All season long, minus the very first week. I think we had Timpson number 1. Malakoff 2, Carlisle 3. Harmony 4, Beckville 5, Cooper 6, Dangerfield 7, Winsboro 8, West Russ 9, Mount Vernon 10.
I have a beef with somebody. I don't know. I don't remember who did it. I think it was either Corey or Vince. I don't remember which one did it, but somebody left Harmony off the top 10.
That was Vince.
Vince.
Let me ask you a question, Vince. But you had Dangerfield in there and West Rusk in there, but Harmony beat both those teams in the playoffs.
Oh,
how do you leave Harmony off the list?
I'm answer for you. Vince forgot.
How did you forget that run? He copied and pasted from the last one. He moved around and didn't even put Harmony in there.
So I'm gonna tell you, I did that before. I forgot. It was like, oh man, I forgot.
I forgot, man.
I think I copied and pasted from Vince's note.
I forgot.
And then I was like,
he almost sent it. Yeah, he almost sent it.
I was like, hold on, let me slide them in at number 4.
Because I was looking, and honestly, man, there's ways you could forget. There's ways you could forget teams. Yeah. Like it's a lot of teams.
That's why
I almost didn't put Cooper. Joaquin deserved a vote. They did well this year.
Man. I didn't even put Cooper on there.
Right, I had to put Cooper on. Cooper was good.
Yeah, Corey. We had to get Cooper. We had to sell Corey on Cooper. He refused to put Cooper in there for a while.
I even gave Mineola some love.
I don't understand. That it was one person. I don't understand that.
I gave Mineola some love. I gave him some love. They overachieved this year. I would
have gave Cooper a vote before I gave Mineola a vote.
Yeah.
Man.
And I cover Mineola. I love Mineola, but
I gave him some love. They overachieved. I gave him some love.
Mm-hmm.
So we all had Timpson. Let's go through these because this is interesting here. We all had Timpson at 1, so that was unanimous. Mm-hmm. All of us had Malakoff 2, except for one person. Corey, can you guess who didn't have Timpson or Malakoff?
Vince. He picked Carlisle.
He put Carlisle at 2.
It don't matter. Carlisle been balling all year. Carlisle been balling all year.
Geographically, I may be off a little bit, but I'm not gonna disrespect them.
But first of all, wait a minute. I got Malakoff in there though.
It don't matter.
For someone that puts Malakoff in, but yet they didn't want to put Kaufman in. I mean, they're in the same little area there, huh?
No,
they're off in the same little spot.
Maybe an hour away from each other. Maybe,
man.
But they're that direction. They're on the edge of the line.
You can point. You can point in that direction and be.
I'm saying right now, I've never been to Kaufman in my entire life. I've been to Malakoff. I've never been to Kaufman in my entire life.
You've been through Kaufman.
You've been through. Thank you.
Drive
I've probably been through Kaufman. If it's on 20, and if Kaufman's on 20, I've been through Kaufman.
You're on 31. It's on 31, man.
I'll never go to 31.
Oh. Okay, so third spot, we had I had Harmony, Corey had Harmony, and Vince had Malakoff. Kyle had Beckville at 3.
I had Beckville and here's my reason. Okay. Beckville beat Harmony head to head. So me personally, I can't put a team that lost to another team above that team. So I got to put Beckville above them.
I think Beckville underachieved in the playoffs, though. We thought they would be, get to play Timpson again. They didn't make it to that round, so I didn't put Beckville in my poll for that. If they'd have made it and lost to Timpson, then I probably would have put them up. There was just too many teams that made runs in the playoffs. Like you had number 4. We all had a different team at 4. I had Dangerfield. Corey had Cooper. Vince had Beckville, and Kyle had Harmony. Dangerfield came out and played strong. Obviously, that district was strong. So I had that. Did we lose somebody? Oh, Vince is sharing something here. Oh, he's got a map for us. There's Kaufman, Texas, Corey, if you didn't know where it was.
Right there.
I know where it was.
Right there. Tyler, Dallas, Kaufman. Right here.
Now Corey has seen Kaufman.
Listen, when I made the mistake, I looked on the map and I said, "Oh, there's Kaufman. Cool."
And so I picked Dangerfield. They're right behind Harmony for me. They're right behind Harmony. They played well. I like the Cooper pick there. I had them a little bit farther down, but I'm not going to argue with that one because they had a good season. Of course, Harmony and Beckville. That's the thing. Beckville, this was deep poll. That just shows how deep this poll is. I mean, I took into account when I was looking at how well they did in the season, and then the playoffs to me weighed a little bit more. Like if you made a deep run in the playoffs, that can jump you up or bring you down if you didn't. So that's just kind of how I've made my picks.
Now I'm the center of attention. Here we go. Now we rocking.
Oh, we lost Vince for a second there. Okay, so now at 5, I had Pottsboro, Corey had Dangerfield, Vince had Cooper, and Kyle had Carlisle at 5. So, I mean, you see how all of them are different, going down through here. Really, the main difference, I mean, you had in this poll, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 15 teams get some kind of vote in this poll.
This is a deep poll. This is the 3A2A is deep.
Yeah. And especially East Texas, and it's good football and good.
And honestly, as good as they played, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Because when you get out of the top 3, to me,
now,
man, you can pick anybody.
Here's my question, and I'll ask Vince and Corey this because I know Kyle's thoughts. Is Newton East Texas?
I mean, they're on the outskirts. I mean, they're there. Just like you said, if I'm considering Crockett is like right at the edge of East Texas, like that.
Newton is probably East Texas.
I mean, they probably are.
Because Kyle voted for Newton. He had him at 8.
And I thought about that a long time ago. I'm like, we've excluded a lot of small East Texas towns and schools, and I'm like, man, Newton. I was like, well, if you really want to get technical, Crockett is at that like the last ring East Texas school there is, and Newton's probably right there, and Newton, Jasper, all of those are all like East Texas schools. If you want to be honest with it,
the best way to make sure we talk about your team, those of you listening, is come on the show. Make sure we talk about it.
That's true. That's true.
Eddie made sure we talked about Pleasant Grove every week. We have Derek here as Mount Vernon. We've got all these people from different places. So
we had Hooks for 1 week.
Yeah, Hooks was there for 1 week until Harmony.
Hooks was strong for 1 week.
Okay, so wait, if we're gonna use Newton though, are we talking about Albany too? Because they're right there.
If y'all count Center as East Texas, then yes for Newton.
I'm looking at something wrong.
Yes.
Albany.
No, wait. No, I'm looking at the wrong. No. That's
Albany's all the way in West Texas.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Nah, so in Georgia, there's a Newton and then there's an Albany right there next to him.
We're talking Georgia.
Hey, listen, man.
I didn't notice at the bottom that it was Georgia.
Here's how I determine East Texas, and this is gonna make me sound hypocritical because I'm after looking at the map and thinking about what I'm about to say, I'll consider Kaufman and Terrell East Texas. But hear me out. So KLTV, their coverage area, it's East Texas News, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Newton County is part of that, so I include Newton in East Texas. So if it's in that East Texas region, I'm going to include them. So, and I think Newton is deep East Texas. They're, like Corey said, they're on the fringe, but that's part of East.
Maybe
Texas.
You can get us a coverage map that they have, and we understand for next year. Like, this is our area.
Yeah,
these are the schools in the counties we're covering.
You know what, Vince? I'll work on that for you. I got you.
There you go.
I'm working this weekend on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so give me something to do.
Man, I'll be working on Christmas Eve, so I'm there with you on Christmas Eve.
So, I mean, obviously, Corsicana would be considered East Texas. Or is it East Texas?
Corsicana is not East Texas.
Right.
That's close to the Central.
Corsicana is not East Texas. If you're on Interstate 35, you're not on East Texas.
Right.
No.
They play East Texas schools, though, right?
Look, Derek makes a good point. If the town has a 903 area code,
of course.
Texas. So
or 430 now too, right?
And then 93612. Or no, that's Dallas, right?
430 is a new area code now.
203 or something like that. 20 is something I can't remember. 461 is a new area code, and some other ones are. Yeah. So,
so that's pretty much the end of that.
Anybody, lesson there.
Anybody else got any thoughts on that way that poll turned out?
Look, how did y'all share screens?
Oh, trust me, it messed my computer up for us. Well, it messed it up.
You hit the share screen button at the there's a little
at the
computer
bottom
screen with arrow.
What do y'all got? MacBooks?
Yeah. Well, mine's
I don't have
a
a
Mac.
MacBook.
I got you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold
I
on.
don't even know. I don't even know what kind of computer I have.
Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all something. I just found something. Hold on.
All right, he's got.
Continue. I'll bring it back in a second. It has to do with East Texas. We'll get there.
No, I was just gonna say that's pretty much wraps up our football season this year. I mean, it's been a good season. We've had a lot of new viewers.
It's been a long run.
A lot of new viewers. Hopefully, all of y'all will come back for next year. We'll start probably sometime August. We usually start doing some preseason shows. Last year we broke it down into different classifications, kind of maybe our poll groupings, and we'll talk about each one. Have a big preseason show, have our polls again, and talk about all that. Hopefully, we'll have some more news before then about football season coming up. Again, Kyle is going to be officially joining us during starting football season. We're gonna bar him a little bit from KMU if we can sometimes. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, we got Corey. You want to talk about a little basketball before we get off here? What we got going with basketball?
We're all over the place. We had our first game last night, our versus Wascom. Nice little turnout here. We had in NETsn fashion, we had just a little technical difficulties, but nonetheless, man, it was great.
Hey, Kyle tried to listen, Corey. He thought he couldn't hear us. He didn't know. He actually tuned in.
He said he couldn't hear us,
I tuned in the third quarter when y'all were having issues.
Right, as I said, but I mean, nonetheless, we got some exciting games coming up. I don't want to make any further announcements as of yet. We may do like a show somewhat next year and go for and do something like that. But we got some nice things coming up. I don't want to say too much. Just look for the website. Go to the website there and netsn.live. Y'all know where to go, and then follow us on Twitter for a lot of the updates there as well. I mean, we're not gonna make any big announcements or nothing like that. Some things we're working on behind the scenes. We're always looking to improve, always looking for new partnerships, and a lot of coaches reach out to us as well. We got some exciting things coming as we grow and we try to network. So this is what we want to do.
So here's our East Texas map right here, okay, with area codes. So we got 430 and 903. That's East Texas. 936 is still considered East Texas. And I think 409 is where that Newton and Jasper area is. So we can include 409 and not the all of 409, obviously, but like the top tip of 409. So there you go. There's my map.
All right.
Look, I'm so proud of myself that I figured out how to do that.
That was impressive.
Come on, man.
It's impressive.
I wouldn't figure that out.
Kyle, I think he's the only person that has anything else this year. Kyle, tell everybody where you'll be next week. You got a game coming up.
Yeah, man. Speaking of basketball, we had our first game on Monday, and Bret, you tuned in. It was an exciting contest.
It was. I asked Kyle, I was like, did you just, put duct tape on Jeremy? He couldn't talk, and he was, talking the whole time. He said he wasn't there. So, but it was good. I was at the edge of my seat. It was a good game, and Kyle, as always, did a great job. That professional broadcast that we so love from Kyle. And
I did follow the highlights on YouTube, so I did see the highlights there.
Yeah, go subscribe to Kyle's YouTube channel.
Yeah. It was a fun game though. Reigns and Quitman in Emory. Man, it was a 2-point game at halftime. At the end of the third quarter, Quitman was up by 40-35, and Reigns came back and was able to win 53-51. So a tight game on Monday. It was a very exciting one. And then next Friday, not this Friday, but the 30th, next Friday, we got some girls basketball action. We'll be in Big Sandy for the Big Sandy Lady Cats and the Fruitvale Lady Cats. So expect another good one. I think we got some good matchups coming up this year. So it should be an exciting time. I'm looking forward.
And hopefully we'll have a new way to hear you and see you possibly coming up. We're working on some details on that. Maybe you'll know something here in the next few days on that for sure.
I'll know something after tomorrow.
Yes. So, we've got some things working with Kyle. We're going to hopefully will work out for us and give us some more coverage for East Texas, some hoops action.
We in the lab.
Yeah.
Back in the lab.
Derek sent us a message. So this will be back around August. It's been a fun season. Thank y'all for having the East Texas show. We appreciate you joining us. Oh, Derek, Derek, man, get us a hookup. Mount Vernon needs some coverage for hoops, man. Give us some love to your coaches out there.
They got live stream already.
They might need some streaming on the road. You never know.
Okay. Yeah. I've been at a road game with Mount Vernon. They take the whole town with them. The video. They got about 20 kids in there that are videoing with them.
That's cool though.
And that's no disrespect. I think that's cool. I think it's real neat to have a class where you can learn all this stuff. If I would have had something like that when I was in high school, I would have jumped.
Thank you.
I think it's awesome. I think it's real.
That's what we've been saying.
So what it sounds like is the Mount Vernon kids need to come be interns here with NETsn so we can give them some experience.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Now you're cooking with gas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We're always looking for interns and sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So give us a shout. Again, we got a lot of things like Corey said coming up.
But always remember, we are the most entertaining sports broadcast in East Texas, hands down.
If you don't believe us, go listen. YouTube.com/NETsn live. You can go back and watch our video archives of our broadcast. Had a good one last night, like Corey said. So I know we'll be back in ARP some more this season. We've got a deal worked out with them. So we'll see that. And we've got some other towns coming up. So stay tuned to our social media pages and we'll be making those announcements. And other than that, and for a while we'll be off. We may pop in with a show here and there as we need to make announcements. But this will be the end of the weekly wrap-up show for the year and for a while. So,
hey, Bret.
Yes, sir.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Now, Vince and Corey are more than welcome to join. But this is really for me and Bret. After each wrestling pay-per-view, we should do a recap show.
Hey, I like the idea.
Huh? We got Royal Rumble coming up in January. I'll be there live. I'm a live correspondent.
That's a tough one. I want to be there live, but I haven't able to get a ticket. I can't get my buddy that usually goes with me. Has been iffy on me. So
I got my ticket already. I got my days off. I got a hotel. I'm ready. I'm Royal. I got my Bloodline T-shirt.
You got your Rock. You got the Rock when he comes out. Your T-shirt for the Rock.
No, I'll video it though.
Okay. So how are you gonna do a wrap-up show if you're at the arena?
Well, I'm talking about I'll be back at the hotel room. I'll be back at the hotel room after the show.
Why don't you just film like the atmosphere, what it's like going in and everything. Like
I got you, Vince. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I've only been to one. I went with Bret one year, 2017. 17? Yeah. Yeah.
What was it? The Royal Rumble?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, back in San Antonio.
The last time
in San Antonio.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited, pumped up.
I am too. I'm excited. I was hoping I'd get to go. It's not looking like I'm going to at this point. So
you're running out of time, Bret.
But I can watch all those at home, and I will be tuning in.
Let me tell you though, I would rather. The only reason I'm going is for the experience.
It's cool,
that's the only reason I'm going. It's a lot better to watch at home, but the pop of the crowd and the sound of the fireworks. Because unless you just
give your whole monthly paycheck to a seat, then you're going to be sitting so far that it's hard to see.
Yeah. Look, I do. That's a goal of mine. So if anybody's out there listening has ties to WWE, even AEW, I take AEW. I want a ringside seat, just one time. I want a ringside seat where the sweat drops on me after they get hit. We get water spilt everywhere. I just want
Corey looking like,
listen.
That's not my atmosphere.
listen.
That's not what I want.
Anything courtside will change your life. I'm telling you, you will never be able to watch anything different. The best courtside experience I had, I told y'all, UCLA, Sam Houston State, we're playing the game, and I'm already in awe. I saw John Wooden, saw all the banners and trophies at UCLA. I could have lost it at that point. I'm like, this is the court, baby. Like, you can't get no better than this. Like, this is it. There's no way I'm going to sit in the nosebleeds anywhere else. No, I'm not doing that. No, but it's got to be on the court. It's got to be court level. Once you do that, it's a wrap, man. You can't do nothing better than that. You walking on the court, everybody's warming up. This is the best. You can't get nothing better than that, man. Come on. Court side of the bus.
I like that. I don't have courtside money though.
Yeah, right. I don't need it.
Yeah, you gotta say yeah. You gotta say yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to follow what we're doing and we've got going on, here's our Twitter handles. Go follow us below. Of course, we've got our regular NETsn _live. And we'll also follow us. We'll have lots of things going. Like I said, Kyle's going to have games going. Me and Corey are going to have games going. You never know where Vince is going to show up.
Vince might pop up at one of my games.
Who knows? We
might just pop up at one of your games, Kyle.
Come on,
over, man. Slide into a game one day.
Corey, me and Corey, we need lessons on how to be professional.
Y'all killing me with this, man. Hey. Just because I'm professional, I'm also entertaining. All right, so don't sell me short.
There we go.
But make sure you tune in to hear Kyle and Corey and myself. We'll have lots of good stuff going. Again, we'll have probably a show here and there pop up as things go down, and so we've got lots of things behind the scenes, whether it's football, basketball, or just NETsn in general. That are exciting. We'll be announcing those as they come down the pipe. So for everyone out there, we appreciate everyone coming in basically coming to our homes every week on Wednesday nights for the football season. It's been a fun ride. We've had so many different representations from so many different communities. We appreciate everybody out there for tuning in. For Kyle and Vince and Corey, I'm Bret. We'll catch you next time right here on the NETsn Weekly Wrap-Up Show. Night, everyone. Peace out.
Peace.
Gridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.
Gridiron Warriors take the field in an epic battle that is larger than life. It is called Texas high school football. Only one show can bring the greatest sport from the greatest state into focus. Lone Star Gridiron.
East Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.